What's up, y'all? If you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, my name is Tyanne. I am a licensed realtor in the state of South Carolina, currently servicing the Columbia, Fort Jackson, and surrounding areas. If you clicked on this video, it's probably because you're trying to buy a house, or at least want to know what the process to buy a house is like. I will say, the steps that I'm going to give you guys today are not South Carolina specific. These steps go for just the home buying process in general. So if you're not in the state of South Carolina and you want to know how to buy a house, you're still in the right place. So keep watching. So step number 1 is going to be know your credit score and have money saved. It sounds like a no-brainer, but you guys would be surprised how many people don't know what their current credit score is. I'm not talking about an estimate. I'm talking about knowing the exact number, because your credit score is going to play a huge part in what you're approved for, how much you're approved for. So for your sake and for your home buying process sake, you need to know what that is. As far as savings go, how much should you have saved for a house? Well, that's gonna depend on a number of things. It's gonna depend on the type of financing you're using, if you're using any financing. The average rule of thumb is that you want to save anywhere between 6 to 8% of the total price of the home. So for example's sake, if you're buying a home that is $100,000, you want to have anywhere between $6,000 to $8,000 saved up. There is a huge misconception that when you're buying your first home, or when you're buying a home in general, you can buy a home with absolutely no money down. Is it impossible? No. Is it likely? Probably not, especially if you're watching this video in real time in the spring of 2022, where we are very much still in a seller's market. And that just means inventory is extremely low. There's a lot more people trying to buy houses than there are houses available for them to buy. So I'm sorry, I'm going to be that girl to tell you, you cannot buy a house with no money. It's not realistic, especially depending on the market that you're trying to buy a home in. It's probably just not going to happen. Step number 2 is going to be to hire a realtor like myself, because a realtor is going to guide you through this process. They are going to give you the exact same rundown that I'm giving you now, but they'll be able to kind of walk you through, hold your hand, especially if this is your first purchase. If this is your first home, you need a licensed professional like myself on your team, because let's be honest, buying a house is honestly the biggest purchase that most people will ever make in their lives. So do you feel qualified enough to get through that process on your own? Probably not. So therefore, hire a realtor. If you are a buyer, the realtor comes at no cost to you unless for some reason the seller or seller's agent is not willing to compensate the buyer's agent, which would be your agent. In that case, then most realtors will bill you for their commission. Step number 3 is going to be the most important step, and it is going to be the very first thing that your realtor is going to have you do once they have you sign some type of agreement saying that you guys now work together. Step number 3 is get pre-approved. What does that mean? That means that you submit an application to a preferred lender. A lender is just a fancy term for a bank or financial institution. Whoever is going to be giving you the money to buy this home, that is your lender. You're more than welcome to find your own lender. However, your realtors are going to have their preferred lenders. You are under no circumstances obligated to use those lenders. It's always your choice. You always have a choice. They cannot force you to use anybody. You are the one taking out this loan, so you go with whoever you feel comfortable with, or whoever is talking the numbers that you want to hear, pretty much. I can assure you without a shadow of a doubt, no realtor that I know of is going to show you any homes without you being pre-approved, because realistically, a pre-approval is going to tell us exactly how much home you can actually afford. When you get pre-approved, these lenders are going to run your credit. They're going to check your employment history. They're going to want to see your tax returns. They're going to see your bank statements. They're going to ask you for everything under the sun, minus your left kidney and your firstborn, if I'm being honest. But at the end of that scrutinizing kind of process, they'll be able to tell you exactly how much house you can afford. However, step number 3 has an asterisk beside it for a reason. Hear me, if you take nothing else from this video, please, 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 buyers and especially first-time buyers, hear me and hear me good. Just because you are pre-approved for it does not mean you can afford it. Let me say that again. Just because you are pre-approved for X amount of dollars for this loan does not mean that realistically in your day-to-day life that you can afford that to take out a loan that size. These lenders, they're only taking into consideration the things that I mentioned, your credit, how much you make. They're not factoring things in your everyday life, like how much your utility bills are, how much your grocery bills are. If you are watching this in the spring of 2022, they are not factoring that gas is almost $5 a gallon. They're not factoring in your daycare bill. There's a lot of things that they don't put into consideration. So therefore, my rule of thumb is most certainly always going to be to shop below that pre-approval range. Because if the bank is telling you that they think that you can afford to take out a loan for, let's say, $100,000, and they haven't factored in the things that I just mentioned, chances are, realistically, it will put you in a very tight spot to take out a loan that size. So I always tell people to shop a little bit below your pre-approval range. Every realtor is not going to tell you that. They have their own way of doing things. This is just my preferred way of shopping for my clients. Step number 4 is find a home. The fun part, right? This is when the actual home shopping starts because you know your credit score. You have money saved up. You have hired a licensed professional like myself. You have gotten pre-approved, so we know exactly how much home you can afford. We are officially ready to hit the streets and start shopping. However, again, the market in which you're shopping in is going to play a tremendous role in how your search turns out realistically. For example, you guys keep hearing me mention, it is currently the spring of 2022 when I am filming this. And like I said earlier, we're currently in a seller's market, meaning there is more buyers looking for homes than there are available homes for them to buy. So what that means is that most homes are going to have multiple offer situations. So when we're talking back about step 1 about having money saved, the market that you're shopping in makes a big difference in how much money you need to bring to the table. It also plays a part in the type of home that you're shopping for. In this market, if your budget is $200,000, getting a new construction is completely off the table, at least here in the state of South Carolina. I can't speak for any other states, but you're not finding a new construction home in April of 2022 under $200,000. It's just not realistic. So therefore, you're probably going to have to go the resale route, buying a house from someone else, a home someone owns. Now, keep in mind, like I said, in this seller's market, there's more demand than there is inventory. So realistically, as a buyer, you need these sellers more than these sellers need you. So what that means is sellers you're at the mercy of the seller. In this market, sellers are selling these homes for way overpriced because they know if you don't buy that house, there's 3 or 4 other people who already put an offer on it who are willing to buy it for that overpriced price. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Every 6 or 7 years, the real estate market shifts from a buyer's market to a seller's market, from a buyer's market back to a seller's market. And unfortunately, COVID has knocked us into a seller's market. Let's say we have now found the best home, because I'm not going to say the perfect home, because it is in my professional opinion that there is no such thing as a perfect home unless you have the funds to build your house brick by brick and get every single thing that you want. It is almost impossible to find the perfect house. And in my opinion, that just doesn't exist. Step 5 is to submit an offer. We found the best home for the best price. We are ready to get in this game. After you submit your offer, there's a chance that the seller could accept your offer as is, and that is amazing. Or there's a chance that they could counter offer. So if they counter offer, that means, hey, we like your offer, we just want to tweak this, and this. And then you and your realtor have a conversation. You decide whether you want to agree to those terms or whether you want to counter their counter offer, because that is an option. Once you guys are done countering, the last person to make changes officially sends the new contract out, and congratulations, you have what we call in the real estate world a ratified contract. And at that point, you are officially under contract. Step number 7 is going to be to order your inspections and your appraisals. So after you have gone under contract, you now have a period of time, depending on what state you're in, that time difference, that actual time, that length of time may be different, or the name of that period may be different, but you have an opportunity to order inspections and appraisals, etc., etc. You want to get that home inspected. I don't care what market you're shopping in. In my professional opinion, highly, and strongly recommend that you order inspections and appraisals. What should you be getting inspected? The HVAC system, the roof, the foundation, things that, as someone just purchasing this home, you do not want to kick out major cash to fix these things a year, 2 years down the line. You want to make sure that these things at least have X amount of years until they need maintaining. Now, as far as appraisals, an appraiser is going to come out and tell you exactly what that home is worth. You don't want to buy a house for well over what the house is actually worth, do you? So in that instance, you would order an appraisal. Now, these appraisals, these inspections, these are all costs on you, the buyer. The buyer is responsible for all of these costs. So when I said have that 6 to 8%, these fees are rolled into that. Even if you're using a VA loan and they're telling you that you need no money down, like I said, do you want to spend $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 on a house that is not maybe worth that or needs major repairs? Right. So therefore, always order your inspections, always order your inspections, and always order your appraisal. Step number 8 is going to be to solidify financing. So at this point, you're under contract. We found the home. We've submitted an offer. Our offer was accepted. You have ordered your appraisals, your inspections, everything have come back green lit, and we are moving forward with purchasing this home. So then we're now in what's called underwriting as far as where your loan is. This is where the nitty gritty of your loan is going to be written. As a realtor, I am here to speak on behalf of all realtors. We do not write your loans. In no way, shape, or form do we have anything to do with your loan. That is all on your lender. So at that point, we pass you off to whatever loan officer you've been assigned to by your preferred lender, aka bank or financial institution. And they, again, probably ask you for all the same things. They're running your credit score again. They're asking for bank statements again. They want to know what accounts you have the money that you're paying for this house in. They want to make sure that they can track where this money came from, because depending on what type of financing you're using, the money can't be a gift from family members, or the money has to be sitting in an account for X amount of days or X amount of months, etc., etc. After you have solidified financing, you've gone through underwriting, and your lender or your loan officer gives you the clear to close, which as a buyer and as a realtor is music to our ears. That means that on our end, we have done everything that has been asked of us. We have passed all tests with flying colors, and we are clear to purchase this home. If this deal falls through, it is not on us, the buyer side, at all. It's all on the seller. Once your lender gives you the clear to close, congratulations. We are smooth sailing, hopefully, for the most part, to the closing table. So step 9 is you close on your home. Congratulations, you are officially a homeowner. And it sounds like the steps are fairly simple, fairly easy, but there is a lot that can go wrong at every single step. Starting from knowing your credit score. If you don't know your credit score, or you think your credit score is higher than it is, there are so many things that factor into every single one of these steps that are going to determine how your home buying process goes, because it's not the same for everyone. I don't care if you're using the same financing. I don't care if you're using the same realtor, the same lender. Every single person, every single client is going to have a tailor-made home buying experience. And my job as a licensed professional is to make sure that that is as smooth as I possibly can. I cannot guarantee you a smooth ride to the closing table, but I can guarantee you that I will try my absolute hardest and do everything in my power to make it as smooth as a process as I possibly can, as well as keep you as informed and educated throughout the entire way. Those are the main steps. There are just a couple things that I want to touch before I let you guys go. And that is, during this entire process, be realistic, but be optimistic. So be realistic in what you can afford. So like I said, just because you're pre-approved for a certain amount does not mean that you can realistically afford it. Take off those HGTV glasses, like we like to call it on the real estate side. Understand that real estate is not as cookie cutter as you may think. And like I said, depending on the market you're shopping in or the budget that you're shopping within, that's going to determine the type of home that you're eligible for. So you may think that you want this brand new granite counter, marble counter home and find out that you can't afford that. But does that mean that you don't deserve those things? No, it just means we have to do some tweaking and adjusting to our search. So maybe we find an older home that's well below budget enough that you can still afford to take out the same size loan, and now you have money to do some renovation projects shortly after you move in. So that's what I mean by be realistic, but be optimistic. Just because you can't get the things you want on move-in day does not mean that you can't get them ever. And as your realtor, as your future realtor, it's my job to remind you of that. But I just want to drop that in your ear now. It is a stressful process. Like I said, there's no such thing as a perfect house. So just be realistic and be optimistic and breathe. You'll get to the closing table when the right house comes along. The last one I'm going to touch on, not just as a realtor, but as someone who just recently purchased their first home. My husband and I have only been homeowners for about 4 months now, so we're fairly new to this, and we've learned so much. But it's important during your process to set clear intentions and to be aggressive with your search. What that means is you set clear intentions with yourself, your spouse, or partner about realistically what you guys want. It's very important in the home buying process to differentiate the wants from the needs. And if you're shopping in a seller's market, though, we need to be very clear about what are the wants and what are the needs. What are the must-haves and what are the we can wait. Like I said, cosmetic things that could possibly be renovation projects along the line if the home is well below your pre-approved budget. There's necessary little tweaks and little changes like that you need to know up front. You need to be very clear in your intentions when you shop, and you need to be very clear with your intentions with your realtor. You need to not sugarcoat things with us. Don't tell us that you don't have a preference for X, Y, Z, and then we're sending you these homes and you're like, oh, I don't like that bathroom and I don't like that kitchen, but you weren't specific about that type of stuff in the very beginning. Be as clear, be as precise as possible, because it not only makes our jobs a little bit easier, but it helps us to help you. We don't waste our time looking for houses that you're not going to want, and we don't waste your time sending you houses that you're not going to want. So it's very important to be very clear and set those expectations and those intentions for both yourselves, your partner, your spouse, whoever that may be, as well as your licensed realtor. And as far as being aggressive with your search, you need to know your timeline. Are you trying to buy a home within the next 30 days? Because that's typically how long it takes to close on a home. Anywhere between 30 to 45 days. Could be longer, could be shorter. Like I said, everything about the home buying process is tailor-made. So that's going to be specific to your situation, but that is about the average amount of time it takes to close on a home. Be aggressive. If you're trying to close on a home in 30 days, you need to be on top of your game. Anytime you get an email being asked to send something, you need to send it in a snap. Like, the faster you respond to people, the faster things get done, and the faster we can try to get you to the closing table. You need to be aggressive with your search as far as your realtor is concerned. Sometimes we get overwhelmed. Sometimes we're juggling multiple clients. That's not an excuse for lacking on your specific process. However, if there's a house that you found, send it to us. We'll tell you what is what. We'll schedule the showing. But you can't just expect us to find everything that you want if you're not setting those intentions, setting those expectations, and if you're not being aggressive in your search. You being aggressive with your home buying process lets us know how serious you are, and it solidifies your timeline. If you're trying to get in a home in 30 days, we got to make some shake, But if you're trying to get in a home in 6 months, there's a little bit of wiggle room for, okay, there's some time between the amount of times we need to speak. You get what I'm saying? Don't be hesitant to shoot your realtor a text. Hey, good morning. Just want to know where we are in the process. Your realtor should always be not at your beck and call, but within their business hours, they should be readily available to you. There's no reason they shouldn't be getting back to you within the same day, or if they don't have information that you're asking for, they should be getting it to you by the following day. That is what I mean by be aggressive with your search. Make sure that you hire the right realtor, and it's okay to fire your realtor. They work for you. So if they're not meeting the level of customer service or client service, that you are requiring, it's time to find another one. Like I said, this is the biggest purchase most people make in their entire lives. So you deserve to feel like you're the only client. You deserve to feel well educated and well informed throughout the entire process. And that is your realtor's job. And that is what I am here for. And that's really all I have for you guys today. So if you took anything from this video, if you learned anything from this video, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Be sure to send it to anyone you know that's looking to buy a home or kind of just entertaining the thought of buying a home, especially if that person is relocating to the Columbia, South Carolina area. If you know anybody PCSing to Fort Jackson, if you're military, send them my way. I'll be glad to give them a free buyer's consultation where I kind of just run through the exact steps that I ran through with you, kind of more personalized to their personal situation. So if you or anyone you know is looking to buy or sell a home, like always, I'm your homegirl. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace, y'all.